Is the First Descendant worth playing? The First Descendant is a free-to-play looter shooter. In this game, you'll select from a variety of descendants, each with different abilities. When you finish the tutorial, you'll reach Albion. Albion is the game's central hub. Here you can take on new mainline quests, side quests, upgrade your character, and craft new gear. Once you're done there, you can head to the world map. Story progression takes place across various regions. You will start in the first region's introductory area. Here, you will complete several missions. Once all missions are completed, you'll move on to the next area. You'll keep doing this, unlocking new regions, dungeons, and bosses to fight. Let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay of this game largely revolves around mowing enemies down. You can do this either by shooting them or using your abilities. The gameplay in this game actually feels pretty respectable, I'd say. It feels good to mow enemies down. It feels good to run around as a bunny shocking everybody to death, or pulling all enemies together as Lepig and then blowing them all up. There's many different types of characters, and there's different ways that you can build them, allowing you to play the game your way. Story. The story in this game is... I don't think there's many people that are playing this game for the story. It basically centers around 3 Dragon Balls. Your faction wants to collect all the Dragon Balls because they're powerful. When you touch the first Dragon Ball, you meet this magic AI lady, and there's characters in your faction that can't see her, and that creates a bunch of friction. It's like, oh my god, is this a conspiracy? Is this real? And you spend your time chasing the Dragon Balls. Oh wow, you got the first Dragon Ball. Wow, that's great. Oh no, look, it's the enemy. Oh no, they took the Dragon Ball. Oh, that's terrible. And then the Dragon Ball over there. Okay, let's head over there. Oh no, it turns out that the Dragon Ball's not here. Wow, we were wrong. Oh man, that sucks. That's essentially the story. And the worst part of it is that at the end, the story just ends. There's nothing worth credits rolling for. It just sort of ends. And that's that. And then you're kind of stuck in that state of, oh, okay, well, we're in the middle of this and nothing's really concluded. And okay, I guess I'll just go back to grinding. Let's talk about free to play. So the game is free to play. And I think the first thing when people hear that, the first thing they're concerned about is pay to win. Is the game pay to win? So these days, there's so many definitions of free to play. It's really hard to have a sort of consensus. But I'll tell you, in my experience, the game is definitely pay to win. But before we talk about that, first let's talk about crafting and endgame. Crafting. So as you progress through the game, especially once you reach the later stages, you're going to be spending a lot of time crafting, as unlocking new descendants and unlocking ultimate weapons requires crafting several different pieces. In my opinion, this game is a farming game. You farm pieces of pieces that will then allow you to unlock a descendant, or will allow you to unlock an ultimate weapon. You then create a build for your descendant. It's like, oh, well, if I want to have all maxed out modules for my build, like let's say I want to have fully maxed out HP, I'm going to need more space in my build. And I can't get more space in my build unless I prestige my character, right? Prestige meaning, hey, your max level, which is level 40, you can reset your level. And then that gives you essentially more space to equip more modules. So all you're doing in the game is leveling up your character, prestiging it, unlocking new characters, unlocking new weapons, prestiging your weapons, and then achieving some crazy godlike super powerful build, which then allows you to farm some more. Very Diablo-like, very Warframe-like in that respect. Okay, so let's talk about descendants. There's regular descendants, like for example, Bunny and Volby. And then there's what they call ultimate descendants, which are sort of like prime frames in Warframe. A regular descendant is just that, standard descendant. An ultimate descendant is honestly not very different from a regular descendant. So what do they bring to the table? They have slightly better stats. And by slightly better stats, I mean ever so slightly, like almost pointless levels of slightly better stats. They bring a unique skin, so they look better. Like if you look at regular Bunny and Ultimate Bunny is all golden and shiny and whatever. They come with pre-prestiged module slots. So they come with more prestige module slots. That can be a good thing. So now they essentially have more space to equip more higher level modules. And finally, they have unique modules. So there's transcendent modules which change how your character actually plays. Like for example, for Bunny, she has her bread and butter AoE that attacks anybody that's around her with like electricity. Well, she can change that to a targeted lightning bolt that automatically attacks enemies in range, but it doesn't hit everybody. It only hits like, I think it's like 3 people, but it hits harder. That module is called high voltage, and it really does change her playstyle. Only Ultimate Bunny can equip some of these modules. And that's basically it. They're very subtle differences, and not differences that I think a player that's going through the story for the first time is gonna notice or even care about, except for maybe the default skins, shinier. Endgame. So the game has dungeons, it has these sort of wave-based like PvE activities, and then it has bosses, which are sort of like raids. They're 4-player raids where you fight a boss in an arena. For an in-game build, none of them are really challenging except for the bosses. Basically the final boss that's really the truly hard experience. At first, I think it can feel kind of difficult when you first reach hard mode after you beat the story, but as you get better gear and as you get more powerful descendants and so on and so forth, you start kind of out-gearing the content. And this is why I say that this game isn't really like, this isn't World of Warcraft, right? There's no like, oh, we have looking for raids, which are like you could fall asleep in and still beat them. Then there's normal raids. Then there's heroic raids, which are actually hard to like a regular casual player. And then there's mythic raids, which are like only like the best of the best can beat this in like record time. You know, like they're super hard raids, probably some of the hardest raids in gaming, right? And then there's dungeons, and dungeons have like, regular dungeons, and then like heroic dungeons, mythic dungeons, which are sort of a little bit hard, and then finally mythic plus dungeons, which are as hard as you want them to be, and if you keep completing the challenges, they just get harder and harder and harder and harder and harder, right? This is not that. This isn't some just endless sort of challenge. This game is very, I would say, manageable. And I think that's something that people are kind of a little bit disappointed in, is that they want more challenging content. The game is brand new, so, who knows how it's going to pan out in the future. But I think the real challenge of this game is kind of, farming and unlocking all the characters, unlocking weapons, and so on and so forth. Problem is that you can unlock anything you want. Well, you can unlock all the characters if you want by paying money. And I think herein lies the problem, right? You can unlock Ultimate Bunny, you can unlock, every Ultimate Descendant, you can unlock, and even one of the things that's limited is how many character slots you have to unlock. So even character slots, like there's only space for 10 Descendants as a free-to-play player. They have a sort of random rotating seller that has sold Descendant slots, but he's only sold 1 thus far. And so that's not really like a big, oh yeah, I'm going to be able to slowly like increase all my Descendant slots free-to-play. No, really. Like you need to pay money for that. But if you're the kind of person that only plays like one, you're like the guy in a game, you're like the guy in Overwatch that only plays Genji, and he just plays Genji all the time. He doesn't care when they add a new hero or anything. Then I think, that's fine. You probably really like this game. But at the same time, this game definitely needs more challenging content, and I think that the game does need to kind of help out free-to-play players, at least to be able to unlock the more character slots on their own. This game could throw free-to-play players more bones, especially when it comes to character slots. You can unlock every weapon in the game. You can unlock every character in the game for free. You just don't have slots for every character. And you can do basically every content. Like, there is nothing that's really like locked behind, like, oh, you can't beat Deathstalker unless you pay money. Like, none of that. But the character slots thing, I think, really does suck. Is the game pay to win? Well, here's where you can unlock in the store: Descendants, Ultimate Descendants, skins, certain pieces that you need to be able to, like for example, the prestige, to be able to prestige your character, you can just straight up buy those. You don't have to farm those. The unlocking additional capacity for your descendants, you can only do it once per descendant, but like you can unlock additional capacity. You can just straight up buy those. All this sort of stuff that like you need to farm for in the game, you can just straight up buy them. And here's really the conundrum. So let's say you start playing the game, right? You beat the game. You're at hard mode now. You're at end game, and you just unlock every descendant and everything, and all of the prestiging items and so on, all the capacity items and whatever. Like, what is there to do in the game? You don't have to farm. Like, what? You're gonna beat all the bosses once and then leave? You do have to unlock weapons, but that's it. All you have to do is unlock weapons and just farm levels for your character, and that's it. Like, I think that a lot of the fun in this game is like Warframe. It comes from the farming, and if you can pretty much remove almost everything that you have to farm from by just paying, I think the game's going to be boring because there's going to be nothing to do. You unlock weapons. Okay, oh wow, you unlocked Enduring Legacy. Now, you have a great single target weapon, so you can just kind of kill every boss. Okay, what is there to do now? It's not like the game has a bunch of challenge to it. So I think that's a conundrum, and I think that's something they need to fix. Honestly, if they would put in a mode like Mythic Plus from World of Warcraft, that'd be freaking awesome. I love games that have this kind of all you can eat. You want to farm all this stuff? Farm it if you want. You want to like have all these super hard challenges? Here you go. You want to see how long you can go without dying? Do it. I think that stuff is great. So I'd love to see it, but I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Here are things I like about the game. There's different playstyles, which I really enjoy. You can build your character however you like. Shooting, combat mechanics, I think they feel very good. Just like killing enemies, mowing them down, blowing them up, lighting them all on fire. All of that feels really good. I think the music is all right. I can't say that about every game, honestly. And I think sometimes you get into like these like farming loops where you're like farming for something, and it can feel pretty rewarding to just, be in the zone and just like it's like that Diablo feeling where you're just maybe you got a stream in the background, maybe you're watching something on YouTube or whatever, and you're just kind of mowing these enemies down, and sometimes you get really good loot, or sometimes you get the item that you were hoping for, and it's like, damn, like, all right. It can feel good. I think it's a very good podcast game. It's a very good Diablo-like experience to get into that sort of like, oh, I just got home from work and I just want to chill. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the design of the game. There's a lot of very feminine designs in the game. There's a lot of big booty girls and big booby girls. So that's something that you don't see a lot from Western games these days. And I think it's great. I think it's nice to see, that diversity, those sort of designs that we used to see a lot back like 20 years ago, come back in some way, shape, or form. So like Stellar Blade and other games like it. So if you like that, I think you'll enjoy this game a lot. But here's my criticisms of the game. The mission variety. So there's it feels like there's like 12 missions in the game. And once you've seen them all, you've seen them all. The game just kind of keeps giving the same missions. Oh, here's a drone you have to escort. Or here's an object that you need to protect. Kill all the enemies. Oh, you have to kill this many enemies. It kind of does get a little boring to kind of go through the same style missions. I think this is something that they can improve by just adding more variety, like little by little, into the story. I think that actually would be great. I don't know if they'll do it, but I think they would be great for the new player experience to just have a better game to play. The pay to win. The game is pay to win, and some of this stuff, the skins are very expensive. Like Ultimate Bunny is like $60. It comes with some other bullshit that you don't necessarily want. Like it comes with like a skin or whatever. It's $60. That's a lot of money when you can just farm Ultimate Bunny. Like I did, honestly, it didn't even take me that long. It took me like 5 hours to farm her. I got a little lucky, I guess, but it didn't take me that long. I don't know that they should like go back and be all like, oh, you know what, we're not gonna charge for Descendants anymore. We're not gonna charge for the prestige item or anything like that. I think that honestly they should leave it the way it is. They should make it easier for free-to-play players to be able to increase how many Descendants they can have. So increase the Descendant slots. I think that would be great, and I think that would keep people playing, because as it is right now, when you unlock 10 Descendants now, it's like you just kind of lost your motivation to keep unlocking more Descendants. Like it's like, imagine you're playing Super Smash Brothers and you unlock Mario, Luigi, whoever, and you got 10 of them, and now it's like, oh, you can't unlock any more unless you delete some. It's like, do I want to delete Mario so I can unlock Wario? It's like you're throwing away your game time, and it feels like maybe I should just stop playing, you know? Of course, you could buy it, which is what they want you to do, but some people don't do that. And I don't know. I feel like maybe it might be healthier for the game for them to just let you have your content. Give free to play players a reason to continue farming. Endgame difficulty. I think that the game needs more challenging endgame. I think as it is right now, the game does kind of just doesn't have enough. And if you're a new player, the game has plenty for you. But once you start reaching that, like, I don't know, 200-hour mark or so, the game just kind of runs out of steam. And I would love for them to add more challenging content. I love for them to add specifically challenging dungeons, like Mythic Plus dungeons and WoW. Is the game worth playing? It's a pretty decent game. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't regret the time that I spent with the game. I have 300 hours right now. I had a pretty good time, and I hope that the game just gets a lot better, because I do think that it has a lot of potential. Should you play the game? If you're looking for a farming style game like Warframe, a looter shooter, I think that this game does have a lot to offer, especially considering that it is also free. It's got better graphics, it's a more modern game, and it's got some pretty nice designs. The characters in the game do look nice. Keeping in mind the pros and cons, if you're into that style of game, I definitely recommend you to give it a shot.